Welcome to the Perspectives Podcast. Josue here. And yes, I am squished on this chair. And yes, I am sitting down or laying down. No, I'm not laying down. I'm sitting down.
Yeah.
I'm sitting down here with the blanket on, and I'm sitting down with these gentlemen that you guys have already met through various podcasts. We'll just kind of recap our journey, our time here in California, tell some stories, just some of the things we notice, some of the ways that we just appreciate our time here. I don't know who wants to start, but let me introduce our special guest. To my right, we have Mr. Chase Brown, also AKA Long Walks on the Beach. Right next to me over here, we have Mr. Grayson. He loves dogs and huskies, right?
Well, it's my last name. I love all dogs.
I thought.
Fair.
Wait, hold
I have a
on.
Brittany Spaniel,
Wait.
but I do love huskies.
Well, I thought you loved huskies. That's why your Instagram name was Grayson.
Grayson Husky. Oh, dude, what? My last name is Husky.
To my left here, we have.
We're learning about everybody.
We are learning. It took a little while. To my left here, we have Ivan Karamoko. He's from Abidjan. That's in Ivory Coast. It's a great country in Africa. You should check it out. And to my further left, we have Mr. LA himself, aka Alex. There you go. Throw up your LA sign. So this is the whole band. You know, this is. We had a great time. We Are Perspectives, right? I think we have shirts coming out soon. We Are Perspective.
Yeah.
We're gonna get that trademark, but
Once
to get started.
Yeah, we're gonna have some fun. We got the whole crew here. It's 1 a.m.
It is 1 a.m.
to be transparent,
Our
but
bodies think it's 3 a.m. So,
Yeah.
the 2-hour time change.
That's true.
yeah,
We're feeling it right now.
yeah,
Look,
Yeah.
take the mic. Though.
yeah. Take the mic whenever you talk.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're working things out.
You can literally take the
That'll be
mic.
good.
I can't hold it for you. You can just
You're not a kid.
You got it.
okay. You gonna share that mic with them? Grayson and I are gonna share this
We'll
mic.
share this
Okay,
mic.
yeah, we'll share this mic.
This is off to a great start. I love this.
You wanted to tell your story, and I don't want to take it from you, so I'm gonna let you start first. So you know the story.
Oh, my story?
Yeah, the one from
The one that was real funny.
Yes, that one. Yes, that
The
one.
one where Chase and
Yes, exactly.
Chino almost got in trouble.
Yes.
That one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So the story starts. We just got to Venice. Was Venice, right? Santa Monica.
Hold that closer.
Oh,
Was it
I can
Manhattan?
still pick it up.
I think it was Manhattan, right?
Oh, Manhattan.
Yeah.
Is this on?
Yeah.
It was Manhattan Beach. We had just got to. We had went walking around. We said, okay, cool, let's go check some things out. And we start walking down the pier. We start walking back after checking out the ocean and
Your
trying
little
to,
aquarium thing, yeah.
People were making dares to yell at the surfers that there were some sharks coming. We
Yeah.
thought about doing that.
Yeah, we did.
There may or may not have been some J's being promised,
True.
some Michael Jordans,
True.
not the J's that people have in California.
Mm-hmm.
But just gotta clarify. Gotta clarify. But there may or not been some J's promised in that situation. But anyways, we were walking back down the pier, and I kind of see some these two little officers, two guys. I wouldn't call them officers, walking down in our direction. They had these little look like construction worker vests on, kind of type thing. One was holding a clipboard, and in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, okay, they're maybe there's some code enforcers just looking around, and I see him go up and talk to these people, and I was like, these are mask enforcers. We're in it. We're in California right now. They're enforcing this mask code or something. And sure enough, they start walking down, and I turn around to Chase and Chino, and I say, hey, y'all probably want to put your mask on right now. And they just kind of looked at me like I was dumb, and I was like, actually, don't put them on. I want to see what happens.
This was the best part. This was the best part of the story.
Sure enough, they beeline it straight to Chase and him, and they're like, wear your mask. They pull out the clipboard. Let me see some identification. Let me see what's going on. And they're like, we're from Texas. What's going on? We don't know the rules. And long story short, they didn't get a ticket. I kind of hoped they would get a ticket because it would be a
Me
funny
too,
story.
yeah.
But I'm glad they didn't. Just kidding.
No, I think I
but
should
yeah.
detail that because he came up to me saying, "Hey, give me your identification." I was like, "I don't have it on me." He's like, "What's your name?" I'm like, "I don't have to identify myself." And after that, he's like, "It's $100 ticket." And I was like, "No." And then that's where it kind of proceeded, where he's like, "Oh, you guys aren't from here, are you?" I'm like, "No, bro, we're from Texas."
Could you
man."
tell what I had boots on? Can you not see my boots?
I mean, it's like,
I haven't seen anybody in California wearing boots right now.
That's true.
so just to clarify, I stood my ground because I studied law and, I wasn't doing anything technically illegal. And these guys were, I don't even know, these are just random dudes in construction vests. So
Yeah.
I could be in danger by identifying myself to these people who didn't identify themselves.
No, that's funny.
So that's just my take on it.
You should have just started coughing. You're like, like coughing. I'm like, get away, get away.
If I was y'all that jumped in the ocean,
Why?
why not run away from them? What were some of the stories that stood out to you, Mr. Alex?
Well, that was a really good way to start off my trip to Cali because, you don't have mask enforcement in Texas, so it's interesting to see how different states treat COVID. But I think the best story probably would have been that night when we went to eat. What was the name of the restaurant? Whalers?
Is it Whalers or Whalers? I think.
Whalers.
Yeah. I think it was so we went to go eat dinner, and after that we had our waitress, Stephanie, and throughout just the dinner I just kept on hearing the word like doubt in my mind. And I was like asking God, like, Lord, I don't know what this is, but if you want me to share this with her, then I don't care if I embarrass myself. I'm just going to believe it in faith. So by the time she comes back to deliver our bill, I just asked her, hey, does the word doubt resonate in your life? Like, have you been thinking about it recently? Does that mean anything to you? And then she was responding that it was on her mind last year. And so I just kind of was prompted to say, hey, I don't know what you've been wanting to do, but if you've been putting something off, this is the year for you to pursue it. And I just want to encourage you with that. And then I asked her if I could pray for her. And so I prayed over her. We just prayed together. And then after that, went about it. And I guess that really just encouraged her and really uplifted her spirit. Maybe that wasn't something that she regularly hears, but just felt like I needed to obey, and I think that really was impactful for her. So I felt that was probably one of the biggest highlights of God just using me out of obedience without even knowing what was going to happen, and just trusting Him, because it could be sometimes scary. If you just do those kind of things, you're like, what the heck, you weirdo?
No, I mean, I completely hear you on that, because for me, it was interesting to see, because I knew what was coming as soon as I saw you talking. So it's always awesome just seeing how God uses different people in those moments, and even just seeing your obedience in that moment, right? It could have been easy to say, nah, I'm just in my own head, but you decided to take that step of faith, and she was able to let you know where she was, and you're able to encourage her, So even in moments where we're able to go get something to eat, God is present with us. He wants to, reach the people that were around. So it was awesome seeing you, being obedient like that. So yeah, that was great for me too.
Thank you.
She shed a little tear.
Yeah.
It was pretty emotional. It was pretty powerful.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't see that. Wow.
Yeah, I think one I'll share to put Yvonne on the spot here. Pretty much from day one, Yvonne was having some fun with being oblivious a little bit, to where Yvonne flew directly from Tulsa to here. And me, Alex, Josue, we flew from Dallas, and Grayson from Austin. But so Yvonne, while he was booking his flight, correct me if I'm wrong, there was a couple options where there was one to Salt Lake, and then to LA, and then one from Tulsa that goes to Atlanta to LA. And Yvonne was just like, oh yeah, I'll pick the Salt Lake one because I don't really want to go all the way over the East Coast and then over the West Coast. Then he goes to the flight and he's like, oh wait, I guess I chose the one to Atlanta. And it took him like 8 hours to get here.
Yeah. And I got to do that tomorrow on the way back too. So that's the beauty. That's the beauty of this. Yeah, it was a mistake, and I didn't really realize it until it was too late. And then so I have a 5-hour flight and then another 2-hour flight, or I guess it's like an hour and 20 minutes. But you know what? I am going to choose to believe that there's a purpose for that error or mistake. I'm going to look for opportunities tomorrow because actually I'll probably be sleeping on that first flight unless, hey, you know what? I will report back to y'all that there was this God moment that happened because I ended up being on that flight or at that airport.
Amen.
Because you know what? The Lord takes everything that the enemy meant for evil and he turns it for good. So there will be good out of it. If anything, you know, I've enjoyed getting to know what it feels like to fly from coast to coast. That's not something I've done before, so
You were able to
that's
read
a
a book
first.
too.
I finished the whole book on the plane, so that was another thing.
A 900 pager.
Yeah, it was the longest book I've ever read, actually. No, it's called Entrepreneurs Will Save the World by Michael Hyatt. It's actually a pretty quick read. Yeah, one of my mentors recommended it, like, I think in October or November, and I like added it to my list, and then, you know, felt like I needed to order it. So
I just
yeah.
finished my last book, and well, I'm about to finish my second book, but this year. But yeah, I'm looking for a new one.
Entrepreneurs Will Save the World. It's a really good book. Yeah.
Sweet.
You have a refer code?
No.
You should get on that.
Yeah. Hey, Michael Hyatt and Company. I'm out here.
Sponsor your boy.
I just started a book of Psalms. I hope that counts. Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's
Yeah.
a long book too.
It's a very long book, especially.
you on
119.
Challenging.
How do you know that?
Wow.
Did I say that earlier?
Praise God.
Wait, did I say that earlier?
You're on the 18th one. Just take it.
No, I am, but how did you know that?
Yeah.
We talked about it.
Did I say that? Okay, I was about to say, how does he know that?
God told me.
Do I have diplomas? Yes, I have diplomas. I think for me, one of the things that that really stood out, I was speaking with somebody earlier. I think when we were all upstairs just, talking, having story time, I was telling them about how a lot of times I'm not really the, visionary a lot of times. I don't see things and I want to do. I'm more so just, okay, what's the plan? Then you tell me the plan, then let's make it happen. So
Yeah.
even wanting to, when we spoke about coming on this trip, I'm not the person to just get excited about things until I'm actually doing it. So it wasn't until we were actually doing the things that we were doing while we were here to where I was able to sit back and say, oh man, this is actually really great. This is really cool. I see the value in that. And so that's just kind of how I am a lot of times. So that's kind of something that stood out as we were upstairs just hanging out. We finished recording most of the things. We were just talking, catching up and building relationships. And I was able to sit back and say, wow, this was really a great trip, great opportunity for us to be able to come here and just, just experience and just all the things that we did here. So that was probably the best thing for me.
Yeah, I think one thing that really was a frequent theme throughout this trip that I think God was showing me was just like his timing and trust and like his grace and his patience and his timing. For example, Peliah, who we had on the podcast a few episodes ago, would be at this point. I met him Sunday, like 5 days ago, and shout out to our boy Reward and his wife Pam for making that introduction. Peliah is Pam's brother, and yeah, like went to Upper Room in Dallas just to catch up with Reward, and then we went to lunch and was talking with Peliah and others. He was like, "Oh yeah, like I'm from LA," and started just talking about all that stuff. And he was flying back Sunday, and just started talking about Zimbabwean culture a little bit and just all that. And he was like, I was like, yeah, this dude's a cool dude. I mean, as y'all saw from like y'all's conversation with him, and just like, yo,
Wimberley, Texas. That's pretty random.
from Wimberley, Texas.
Wimberley, Texas.
Shout out Wimberley, Texas.
I was gonna say Timberley, but that would have been bad. Wimberley, Texas. Yeah.
Hey man, it's late. We can excuse those mess ups. But yeah, it's but it was just so dope that like this is something that we've been working on for a year, coming out here and doing. Like March last year, we're planning on doing this, coming out here to record with Pat, meet up with some other friends and things like that. But then pandemic hit, and it's just like, oh, all right, I guess we can't do that. And then just trusting God that like we're hearing his voice correct and coming out at the proper time, and just everyone being out here that we wanted to record with. Palaya coming back from a month in Dallas, at the time to be able to record with him. Hannah being able to record with her school. Pat and Chaz both being in town, of which they're in the process of doing a lot of things in a lot of different cities throughout the country. And it was amazing to be able to do that. And yeah, because we can get, I think, so frustrated and wanting to stick to like the vision that we have for something or the plan that we have for something. But I think rather than sticking to like what our plan is, really just trusting that like, hey, if something doesn't go according to my plan, like I guess it must be good. And that the alternative of that is like for good.
Amen.
Yeah. Any other stories?
Oh, I got a story.
Oh, yeah.
Bet.
Oh wow, I got 2 weeks.
Hey.
Well, I was just actually thinking about the outreach today. That was everyone's saying, "Dang, like I just stole their story or something."
You stole my story.
yeah.
Shout out to Tyrone and everybody there.
Yeah.
It's bigger than us. Let's go. Yeah, I mean, being a part of that entire outreach was phenomenal and really a huge blessing to be a part of. I think as I was sitting on the truck talking to Stone, shout out, and he was just telling me his story about, just what he had walked through and what he had struggled with and where God had brought him. And the really cool thing was like in his lowest points, at his lowest times, even now, like the community that he's found, because it was also a partnership with the LA Dream Center, at the Dream Center, and how that's helped him to really see himself in the way that God sees him. So background story, he really walked out the homosexual lifestyle for a while and really just knew that the Lord was calling him out of that lifestyle, but also knew that like it would still come with like the feelings and the urges and all of that. And it was just beautiful to hear how the Lord has been working in his life and to hear his heart even for other people in the LGBTQ community that are really trying to find answers. And it's almost like he's found the strength and the hope in Christ, and then is now looking back and going, man, like I understand where people are at. And the beauty of just even like the LA Dream Center meeting him where he was at. I think, this is just a random thing, but as we were talking, I realized how much the church as a whole, because we haven't really understood or maybe even taken time to listen to people in the LGBTQ community, have not really understood where they're coming from. I'm not saying condoning or anything like that, but I'm saying like, have we taken the time to listen? And I think because we don't understand, the natural response has been to just kind of push them away and push them to the side, which obviously that's not love. And as he was talking, it was almost like this reminder that like whether it's the LGBTQ community or really any community that may have a different perspective or background or lifestyle than we do. Like, it was a really good reminder that like the best thing any of us could possibly do is love. Yeah, really random and went kind of deep really quick, but that was probably one of my favorite parts, just sitting there in that truck talking to him. Like,
Yeah. I remember seeing that. And I believe his name was Steven. Was it Steven from Brazil?
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Steven
his
from
story.
Brazil.
Did you talk to him?
He
about
came up to me and just shared his testimony about a lot of things that he was going through. Times where he was homeless, times where he was just, there was drugs and different things like that. And he came to a place where he was just low, right? That's the best way to describe it. And God met him there,
Right.
right? And even in talking to him, you could see this deep passion that he had, for Jesus. And I saw that, and I heard it even in his prayers. And so it was just awesome being able to be reminded of these kinds of stories that a lot of times it's easy not to be reminded of, especially when you're in a community of people that have just been going to church all their lives and
Right.
haven't really experienced certain things. And so it was awesome just hearing how God is delivering people from certain places where it's like, I can't get myself out of this. I found myself at my lowest point, and God was able to meet me there. We stayed we added each other on Instagram, and he commented on one of my pictures. He was like, "Man, it was so great serving with you guys," and this and the other. And I was just like, "Man, it's God really is able to connect people." And I'm sure you guys probably even noticed that tonight as you looked around the room. It's like, how did all of us make these connections? And for all of us to be in this room tonight, I mean, that was great.
Yeah, because like whenever Hannah asked, like you and I, like, so how does everyone like know each other in here? And just like the web and then like the network, just like unraveling and going to different levels and just all of these different things where something's going on back there. No, back there. I don't know. We'll let Casper chill back there. But Lord Jesus, please. But where it
Get
was
outta
just
here.
kind of like, like me and Grayson knowing each other from college, Josue and Yvonne knowing each other from college, Josue knowing Alex from Initiative, and even me and Alex like being acquaintances back at UNT, and that just being random, and then from there like getting to know, Chaz and Pat and Gingy and Juliet and Palaya, like everyone that was here, it was just like the incremental way that God works in relationships and networking is amazing. And seeing how like just different steps of faithfulness make way for opportunities in the future is just something that's like so cool. Because like even like living with Grayson, like rooming with him for a year in college, it was something where like that was kind of a step of faith because, yeah, I mean, like I knew Griff like from the year before, but I mean, I didn't really know Cameron, didn't really know you, but I was like, you know what, God, like this is an opportunity that's here. Like I'm gonna just go for it. And seeing like everything that's come from that, and then Joshua letting you dunk on me every Tuesday night for months in that small group, but putting up with that and seeing where we're at now.
I would say that's
think
probably
Joshua
one
can
of that was probably the cool part amongst all the other cool parts we had. Just tonight when we were all hanging out, cooking barbecue and just fellowshipping together. That was probably one of my highlights of this
Shout
whole
out Chef
trip.
Grayson.
Just
Yes.
I don't know
Yes.
about all that.
Salute to that. Man.
It was fun. Just to me, that I love community and I love fellowship and just getting to know everyone and their different walks of life and where people are at is just that's one of my favorite things to do, and just learning about everyone. It was pretty fun tonight.
Yeah.
Getting to do that.
Because I gotta say, like, in the vision for the trip and like getting everything prepped for this, like what we had tonight in terms of having everyone over, like as I called him, having our LA family like over to the townhome, in the Airbnb, it was just like, that was like what I envisioned, was just like grilling steaks, grilling chicken, like having fun, having conversation, playing Josue playing his Portuguese worship music, and and all of that, and then just in the midst of that, like talking about like, you know, whatever's on our heart, and like fellowshipping and, you know, encouraging one another. And it was so cool to be able to see that, like, you know, just some dudes from Texas and Oklahoma can come out here to LA and further like what God is already doing out here, and that we can encourage them and just kind of renew what they're doing. Like, it's something that, like, I know that's like, we all know that's kind of the model that we want to do, is like, whenever we travel somewhere, is like further what God is already doing there. Like, we don't want to really do something new, because that's not really respecting the people who have been grinding and working there for however so long.
What was that guy's name? What was the guy with the long hair? Jake.
Yeah.
Jake was pretty cool. Jake and I had some good conversation. Just kind of, Jake was friends with
Friend of Chaz, friend of Alex.
Chaz. Okay, yeah, he's lives out here in LA and is doing the actor thing, and I thought that was pretty cool. He was talking about all of his stories and how acting and the media, it's completely different from the secular world versus, you know, the Christian world. And kind of him and I had some good conversations about that, and kind of what we talked about, or y'all talked about on the podcast, what defines success and things like that. Him and I had some good conversations about that. He was a pretty cool dude.
Yeah. It was really dope of him being able to come out.
Yeah.
But Alex, you got any stories about or what were you gonna say? Go ahead.
Well, going back to serving with, it's bigger than us. I think the encouraging takeaway I had was just to see where God has completely radically transformed the lives of everyone that was a part of it. I wish I got to know everyone else's story. I didn't get a chance to do that. But it is awesome to hear everyone speak about that. I did get a chance to speak with Tyrone when I took some food for one of the guys that was just across the street. And it was so funny because Tyrone was like, "Yeah, you want me to take it for you?" I was like, "Yeah." Or he was asking the man, and after that he's like, "Yeah, I would really appreciate that." And so he gave it to me. I was like, "What, bro?" He's like, "Don't worry, bro. I'll just come follow me." So we took it to across the street, and I had no issues, but I was just like, that was just so funny. He handed it off to me, and after we dropped it off, he started sharing a little of his testimony, and he was just like, right here, this is where I bought my first 8-ball, and he's like, yeah, I was going to Vegas, and my friends were asking, and we were going to an EDM concert, and I'm like, now here I am serving the streets, serving the community, and there's this building that shut down right next to Diamonds in the Rough, and so he's hoping that one day he can open up that building and to be able to serve out of there. But it's just really encouraging to see just the story of redemption and just being encouraged by everyone's testimony there. Just their love for the Lord and their love for people just really encouraged me. And I think that really made this experience so enjoyable, is just to see God through each and one of every individual that was there just serving. Also seeing the police officers being so supportive of this. That's really awesome.
Yeah, that was really dope.
Man, that's so great that they have that support and they encourage them to continue to do that. That's really unheard of, honestly. So I know there's a lot of places like back in the days where they were trying to feed the homeless and the police would like arrest them and stuff like that. But just to see them back them up is especially encouraging, especially at a time like this. And that's just one of the takeaways going back to that. But another just takeaway is just to see everybody here tonight and seeing how the Lord is using them, but also just being encouraged by how much they really love the Lord and they really love people. So That's just awesome that I get to just be a part of this, just to witness this.
Yeah. Yvonne, you want to share kind of the takeaways that you had? Or if you have any other stories you want to share, feel free to do that. Like almost killing me on a run. Goodness.
The what?
Killing me on a run,
run.
yesterday
Oh
morning.
yeah.
Goodness, man.
Oh man.
Almost had a freaking heart attack.
So Chase likes his long
Walks on the
walks
beach.
on the beach.
As
so
we all know.
went on a run.
We did it tonight.
Along the beach. Oh, you guys
We
got
did
to
go for a long walk.
got to
To
do
get
that.
that long walk on the beach.
I'm sure that filled your tank.
It did.
Okay.
I did. That's why I'm
Cool.
somehow awake still here at 1:30 in the
Come on,
morning.
Jesus. Getting to run. Yeah, that was cool. It's one of those things where I think, it's like a quick, easy thing to do to like get exercise, but also like a way to like bond with people.
Yeah.
I feel like we're on a different level now as a result of that.
Yeah.
But piggybacking off of that, I think as you guys were talking even about like the different relationships and how it's really cool to see how God orchestrates relationships in the kingdom. I've heard it said that the kingdom moves and grows at the pace of relationships. And even like getting to meet everyone during our time here and getting to hear whether it's like what the Lord is doing in their lives or how they got to LA or even getting to meet Grayson and Alex, like it's really cool to see one, how it's definitely not accidental, like it's funny because we've been talking about like, all the people that were here and upstairs and even in this room downstairs before everyone left. And it's like at some point the Lord like divinely orchestrated this moment and we don't even really know the fullness of why because obviously we're still walking it out. But I was really encouraged to see how many people are truly living lives that are in different fields, in different sectors, in different industries, but all have that same heartbeat of like we want to see God glorified. And even the similarities, I think, in whether it's projects or mindsets or things that we want to do, it's really cool to see how like there are the similarities, but then there are also the differences. I think, I walk away from even this whole thing with a greater appreciation for how God works in and through each one of us.
Yeah.
And, even with like you guys right here on the couch right now, it's like I can clearly see just the evidence, right, of what steadfast pursuit of the Lord in your different lives has looked at and what it's led to, right? I think it's admirable to just like, I don't know, like have like friends that like, I hope we can call each other that now. Yeah. Like
Yeah, we're amigos.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay. Just making sure someone wasn't going to grab the mic and be like, whoa, whoa.
That's we're moving a little bit
I
too
don't
fast
know
in
if
this
we're there
friendship thing.
yet. Like, but that are like solid people of God. And I think as we go towards like, as we go towards even like, I don't know, this is like a really random thought, but as we go towards like even like the last days, like I think the genuine faith that each of you has like really has encouraged me because you've all been walking it out in different ways at different points, and to be able to rub shoulders and sharpen one another, I really believe not just in like a super spiritual way, but like we also had a lot of fun, like lots of laughter. And you know, the idea, I used to think like I had to be boring to be like a Christian, you know, like growing up.
Mm-hmm.
But I realized how much like, man, like God, I'm going to say this is going to be interesting. I think God is fun. Like I don't like, I think God is humorous. I think God is fun. And I think we see that even in like the personalities of each and every one of us on the trip, whether it's, you know, the little jokes or the comments. But yeah, so I want to say thank you to each one of you guys, because I think I leave this trip especially better than I came. And it's because of the kind of men you are and the kind of men you have chosen to be. So, yeah.
Dang.
I want to add before you finish up. Yeah, I piggyback with that because I think the outside conversations that we had, including today when we were going down to LA in the car, to even the late night conversation with Chaz, and you could tell by him saying, man, even I can't talk about this kind of stuff deeply with my roommates who are followers of Christ.
Yeah.
And truly how deep of a conversation that we have and how vulnerable and transparent we can be. That is something that I believe is so needed in the church, and to have you guys be able to be those brothers in Christ as iron sharpens iron. That really encourages me because that's something I long for even back home. And just to be able to have that experience here on this trip, I'm thankful for.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised. I know you guys are, you know, pouring out your hearts, and it's great. I love that you guys are doing that. I'm surprised no one's talked about our boy Victor yet. I thought that would have been the first thing you guys. Bro, I'll let Grayson
you
tell
want
the
to
story.
fight?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think that might be a symptom of it being 1:30 in the morning. Because
I just
honestly,
want
that
someone to tell the
slipped my
story.
mind.
Like, I want someone to tell the
Yeah.
story. So
Victor,
I'm gonna
if
pass
you're
it on.
listening to this,
Who wants to take the
you
lead
better
on this?
upload that. So okay, so I'll do it because like I've seen these videos so many times, and I'm just like, this is way too suspicious. So we just walking on what, Venice or Manhattan? Manhattan,
No, Santa Monica
Santa
Beach.
Monica.
Yeah.
Okay, man, we've been to so many beaches. That's crazy.
Santa Monica.
So we walking on Santa Monica Beach on the side, and out of nowhere, this big, tall Russian dude comes up. He's like, "Hey, you want to fight? You look like you want to fight. You
wanna
look like
box?"
you have anger problems. Let's fight. Let's go. Come on, put these gloves on. Let's go." And at this point, I'm like, "Yo, this looks like a setup."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Put those gloves on, so let's go." And then eventually we saw, Josue saw his girlfriend hiding behind like this light pole, like we couldn't see her. And then
With the camera.
And
Yeah.
then-
Look like that meme of Spicy Adams.
Spicy
Hey.
Adams.
Low key. I looked on YouTube today when we were in the car driving. I looked to see if I was like, I don't know that we're gonna get published on that because I don't know that we went
Yeah.
along with it. We're like, hey, wait, we see
I
the
don't think he
camera
got good
guy.
content because like after us, remember that guy rejected him. So I don't think they got good enough content.
Yeah.
to-
But yeah.
Actually, they could have done it and then cut away to just y'all fighting.
Exactly.
Like, hey, whatever.
Because our boy Butterman,
Yeah,
he held up his reputation.
he got knocked out in like 2 minutes.
Because my thing was like, I didn't know if he was actually going to hit me. He wanted me to hit him because I was like, I knew it was a skit, but I didn't know how much he
right.
actually really wanted to go for it, So like I was just like, gently just kind of do little jabs. But the thing that was great for me was I saw Grayson and Alex on the ground with the cameras up.
I heard someone yelling "World Star."
Yeah,
out there.
So I heard Alex was like coaching me through the whole thing.
He's like,
He's like, keep your heads up, keep your heads up. It was the funniest thing ever. So I just thought I'd be a good sport and go along with it because in Texas, we obviously don't get a lot of those type of things over there. So shout out to Mr. Victor Drago, wherever he might be. Yeah.
Bro. And shout out to just that day. Because there's something like that wouldn't happen if we were just like if we could have checked in the end of the Airbnb on time.
True.
Because I looked at at first I was like a little annoyance where we got here at like 10:30. And And then it's just like, oh wait, we can't check into the Airbnb till like 4. And so we just tried to kill time, like walk around, look at some
Got
heat
some new
around here.
kicks. Got some bands.
Got
There
some
it goes.
Yo, and we entered those raffles for the Carmine 6, and we still didn't get a call back, man.
Yeah, I gotta say, actually, by the way, what was the most heat that y'all saw here, shoe wise?
I mean, we didn't get to see anything, honestly.
Nothing.
He said it was dry out here.
Nothing.
No, I mean, well, we didn't go to the main stores. Like, I wanted to go to Cool Kicks LA. I want to go to the band LA. I want to go to Round 2. That's where all the good heat is at. I mean, we went to just regular foot stores, so Foot Locker, Shoe Palace, and like, I mean, they had general, releases there, so it's not like heaters, but it's cool to see like the availability of the shoes, but also certain shoes that have sold out elsewhere that are just sitting here.
Yeah.
That's also interesting to see.
I felt like Pat had the most, from what I saw on his feet.
Yes.
From yesterday and then today. I was like, okay, Pat.
He's wearing Jordan mids.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
shoot.
was.
Am I going to call him out on that?
Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to
He's wearing
announce that too.
Jordans.
Yeah, he was wearing Jordans.
Yeah.
One of them J's.
Yeah, them
was
Jays
going.
from California.
Maybe he yelled shark out there.
That's true. That's facts.
So glad we didn't do
No,
that.
he did rock them Jays. I mean, he showed out. He was wearing them royal toes today, man.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
Game Royals. Sorry.
Also,
guys.
I guess I'll give this place a shout out. Taco Licious in Manhattan Beach. If y'all out here and want some tacos,
Pastrami.
Go there.
That
That
pastrami was good. I'm not gonna hold you.
Carne asada was good too.
It was.
It was, but
It was.
and then
pastrami?
what
I
was
didn't actually try the pastrami. Pastrami. It's pretty
That was stink. Oh, and then we went to eat some Korean barbecue.
yeah? Shout out this place.
What was the name of it?
That was my first. So okay.
Ooh.
So I'm from Austin, and anyone who lives in Austin has ate at this place called Cilantro, and I mean maybe they have it in Dallas or it's a
haven't
chain.
heard of
I don't know. They call it Korean barbecue, but it's not Korean barbecue compared to what we went to this. I don't even remember what it was called. It was a pretty cool experience. I had never experienced anything like that, and those guys were on it on the service, man. They were
were.
just bringing
Yeah.
more stuff one
Left
after
and
the
right.
other. It was like all you can eat for $30 a person.
Yeah, what was it,
Yeah.
Alex?
It's called Haejangcheon Korean barbecue.
Yeah,
It's over there in Los Angeles off of 6th Street.
Yeah.
If you're ever in the area, please go
up. It was
check this
good.
place out. Yeah, no. So I guess the idea of us getting Korean barbecue, right? And of course, like being Korean, I know what's authentic and good, what's not. And Texas just, I mean, it has, plenty of Korean food, but there's no places that just like wow me. But I knew that LA and New York by far had the best Korean food that I had in the US. And last time I had Korean barbecue in LA, it slapped. And so I was just like, there's nowhere we can go wrong if we go just choose any Korean barbecue spot. So chose that spot, and I mean, the kalbi, oh my gosh, the kalbi was just succulent. It was so delicious. It was so
what a word.
flavorful.
Is that
That
an
is an
SAT word?
SAT word. ACT included.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, that for me, obviously, like I have this, quite often. So like for me, it was a great experience, but I want to hear from you guys. Like, what was your take on the Korean barbecue? What was your favorite meat?
That was my first time to eat that sort of stuff. I loved it. That was pretty cool. I mean, I don't know about these guys, but
It was solid.
yeah.
I enjoyed
Yeah.
it. I like
Solid.
Korean
I
barbecue,
thought
so
it
I
was
enjoyed
good.
it. Yes.
Yeah,
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I mean, it's not like I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10 just because I don't have anything for context. And if there's anything better than that, like I want to leave room. So like, okay, like a 9.6.
you mean?
Who knows? There could be like something better out there.
Wow.
Something better than Korean barbecue.
No, some
Like another
some kind of Korean
barbecue
barbecue that's
place
better
that's
than what we
better
had.
than that, I guess. Yeah.
And so like that's why like I'll say a 9.6.
It was very good. I mean, I hadn't ever had Korean barbecue. I'd had like Korean food and I'd had Korean barbecue items at different places, but it was an experience. It definitely was an experience. If you're around the area, you should definitely check it out. Minotti's coffee shop Yeah, I'm gonna give them a shout out. Venice Beach. It was a very, very, very good coffee spot.
place we went to?
The what?
Is that the same place we went to? I don't know. I never know the name.
It was like right by the beach.
Yeah, it was right by.
There's Spanish latte.
I don't remember.
Lord.
Ooh, I actually have an interesting question. Obviously, most of us were here, during the podcast and things like that. What were some of the, even lines or things that you heard during the podcast? You're like, wow, that really stood out to me, or wow, I'm really gonna take that away from this conversation. Or maybe you were just like, I enjoyed this whole entire conversation. Instead of that, what were some moments or just things that you heard during the conversation that really stood out to you?
I'll say, like, just because Josue, like you and I had been talking about for a minute, like being able, just the whole Pat and Chaz conversations, like both of those, I think were so on point in so many different ways. In terms of Pat being able to talk about, relationships and success and entrepreneurship, and like pouring into us as like, single dudes who, are trying to balance, you know, finding a wife and pursuing our callings and doing all that kind of stuff. Like, it's something that was absolutely amazing. And having conversations with Pat in the past, like, I knew he was going to come out with something special. And he did. He was amazing. And then Chaz, like, personally for me, like, apathy is something, and like cycles of like being motivated and unmotivated are things that I go through. And so being able to discuss with him, like, his experiences with that and lessons that he's learned from that, and then that being wrapped up in identity and like that conversation, like, that was so awesome.
Yeah. So I like to piggyback off what you said. I mean, I think everybody had something great to contribute, but really, I think the more relatable for me was with Pat and Chaz. Like, some of the things about success that he described really resonated so well to me, because those are certain things that I used to view, and he really helped, like, just kind of unwrap that deception that society emphasizes what success is, and even just following these gurus that I followed and read their books and was so just impressed by. I was like, wow, these are guys that I want to listen to and hopefully achieve success that way. And really just the importance of success. Really just, I don't want to, like, I honestly don't like the word success either, because like there's so many definitions that people give to the point where it's just like, oh, one sounds better than the other. But
Yeah.
I think simply put, like, as as sons of God, like, we're called to do the Lord's will, and we want to be in obedience to what He's calling us to do, the purpose that He's put on our life. And I think that as long as we follow through with that, that's how we should live. So, yeah, just hearing what Pat had to say about that and just redefining that, I think that really helps as believers, just to change our perception of what success is, because I think that it could really, especially from my culture, because I kind of shared that on my podcast, but there's such a heavy emphasis on success and honoring the family and the Korean culture. And I've always put myself down for not accomplishing certain things at a certain time. And listening to what he had to say really just encouraged me to know that, like, hey, I just have to keep going and being obedient and trust the Lord every single day and walk with the Lord daily and build my relationship with Him on the daily. That's all that matters. And the Lord will provide, as He always does. He is faithful. So as long as I follow through with that, then I have nothing to worry about.
I think with all of them, something that stood out was how vulnerable everyone was about whether it's their story or their perspective or what they're walking through. And I think that that's what helps people find freedom, like being vulnerable enough to share the innermost, deepest feelings or thoughts. Like I think of, Pat's episode where he was talking about the verse, "He who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord." And I'm not gonna, ruin it for y'all. If you haven't listened to it, you should definitely go listen to that. But the revelation that he got from his life experience opened my eyes to see that verse in a way that I haven't ever seen it before, and won't ever see it the same way ever again. So I thought that was really cool. Pelaya's the way, even like his experience in coming to the United States was in some ways similar, but in so many ways different. And being able to glean from how that shaped and impacted him was awesome. Same with Hannah. Yeah, I think I said it right. I just didn't want to say Hannah because I know that's the wrong one, but like seeing her gift as a photographer and as a creative, and realizing that actually came from her dad supporting her, which isn't really normal in African cultures, which I think needs to be more normal or be more normalized. Chaz's they were all really good. Honestly, I think the biggest thing that sticks out is the level of vulnerability. And I think, let me even just say that, shout out to both of you guys, because I think you've created and stewarded a platform where people can be themselves and where people can be vulnerable. And as much as you guys are learning, I think the people listening and watching are also gleaning and taking a lot from it, because you've created an atmosphere where perspectives, can be shared freely and openly. So,
Yeah, Grayson.
Just kind of piggybacking off what everyone else was saying. One of my favorite people that we interviewed or had on the podcast was Pat. Him talking about relationships and just going through just going through being single and the way the dating is nowadays, and just all of those different things that I'm trying to figure out how to put this. Just kind of how the world sees relationships and how relationships are defined biblically was just kind of cool to get into that, and how we kind of all have expectations of what we think we see. He made a really good reference that kind of stuck is it's like trying on shoes, you have the perfect shoes you want, or they got to have white laces, they got to be black, they got to have green soles, or just kind of whatever. You just have this checklist of things, and just kind of getting down to it at the end of the day, a lot of those check things that you think are important aren't really that important when it comes down to a relationship. It's all about finding somebody who you can be vulnerable with, and someone who sees you for who you are, and not just he goes into it a lot better, and everyone should listen to that podcast. It's really well. And then also too, I really enjoyed listening to y'all's podcast, hearing about Africa and all that. Like I said, I love getting to know everyone as far as their different cultures and where they're from, and I really enjoyed hearing all of the kind of the background, the way that the parenting style, and all those cool stories about how it's different in Africa versus America, and just when you were at the sleepover,
Those sleepovers.
the kid being disrespectful to
Yeah.
his parents, and you're like, what's going on right now?
You feel like you're gonna die.
That's very
Yeah.
much an American thing, I feel
Yeah.
like. But I don't know, just hearing all those stories, those were probably my two favorite out of. I mean, they were all great, but those are
Yeah.
the ones that I spoke to me the most. I thought were really cool.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, go ahead.
If I could just add one quick thing to that is I love, and this is something that like we talked a little bit beforehand, like before that conversation of like one of the things that I was hoping that the listeners could get out of that conversation, and I mean, frankly, the conversation with Hannah as well, is like, you know, with y'all being of the same, you know, relative skin tone and things like that, with it, like being black, that even with that being the case, like there's still richness and depth in your ethnicities, and the fact that not all people who are black are the same, not all people who are white are the same, not all people who are Asian are the same. And it's something that, like, it's an idea that I'm still trying to wrestle with, is like this feeling that I have of overemphasizing race in a number of conversations and under signifying ethnicity and the value that it has. And it's something that obviously like race manifests itself in the world in unique ways, but like those of us within the church, I know Lisa Sharon Harper talks a lot about this, is like we need to like reclaim ethnicity in a certain way. And it's something that at that point, like we really, it automatically opens the door to like relationship and depth and conversation, because it's not just based on like the color of the person's skin, but like knowing that person and where they come from and who they are and their past and their journey. And so that's something that I hope people are able to get from like those couple conversations, is like the value of like culture and things like that. So Joshua, you can continue.
Yeah, no, I was pretty much going to say, being a part of all of those conversations, I mean, for me, there was a lot of, you know, things to take away from that. But it was definitely a new experience bringing out the video format, because while we were recording the first video with Pat, you guys know the introduction that we do with Chase and I and our guests, but bringing on the video component to it, my mind literally just froze. So if you watch that video, you see me like I'm just blinking like 50,000 times trying to remember what I normally say all the time, every week whenever we do the podcast. So it was interesting just getting more comfortable. It took me a little bit to get more comfortable speaking to the camera and just figuring out how that worked. But I really just loved all the conversations, from learning about my boy Pelaya and his coleslaw addiction. I'm just joking.
Shout out coleslaw
that's
boy.
a little shot. But no, I enjoyed his, just Wimberley. I don't even know where Wimberley, Texas is, but I enjoyed that. So I hear.
I ride my motorcycle there all the time.
In Wimberley, I don't even know where that's at. I'm gonna look it up when I get back to Texas. But just cafe, okay. Just learning more about him. From that was the first time we met and we got on the podcast, and that was great. And Yvonne I've already known, and so just being able to have the three of us kind of go back and forth and share different stories, and then bringing Hannah as well, another African country being represented there, as Grayson said, and being able to share some of those experiences and listening. When she talked about her earlier having disagreement with her parents, almost walked off the step because it just didn't make sense to me. So, I was like, whoa, this is shocking. But I really thoroughly enjoyed those conversations as well. Tyrone, we've known for a number of years now, and just seeing all that he is doing and how God has continued to raise him and just, using him in this community was a beautiful thing to see, and then to even just hear more about the structure behind that and what they're seeking to do was great. Having that conversation with Chaz, seeing depth in people as well in him, and but also just seeing how he's able to balance that with just being able to joke around and be goofy and make faces. And as you guys have probably heard 1,000 times, Pat with his, I love the answers that he gave to things, because I talked to him a little bit afterwards and he felt that he was, kind of rambling. I was like, man, no, that was great. A lot of us really enjoyed a lot of the things that you had to share. So I really, really enjoyed, just different moments throughout the different podcasts. But I just want to bring that up.
Yeah. And I want to circle back to Tyrone too, because that was something as well with the outreach this morning that God in that showed his timing again. Because I talked with, I want to say Beth from Dream Center, and they just started
Leah,
up.
I think.
Yeah, what?
Leah?
Oh, yeah, you're probably right. That's Leah. So sorry. Whatever. It's
We'll edit that out.
bro. It's nah. We're embracing it. It's 1:40 in the morning. We can mess up words. English is Josue's second language.
second
We're just
language.
trying to get through this. but basically, she said that they didn't start the outreaches back up until 2 weeks ago, because that's when everything started to open up again. And so that if like we would have came basically any other time, like that's not something we would have been able to participate in. And like with us, it is something like that in everything we do, we want to model balance it to, the people who are listening to the podcast, watching the videos, following us, whatever. And it's because for us, like balancing domestic things and international work is such a key thing to demonstrate to our participants, but as well, balancing this time doing creative stuff with time serving is something that we're super intentional about, and it's something that we want people to be able to also model. And so it's amazing that like we were able, shout out to Josue, being able to get that hooked up and being able to get that outreach going. But then as well, Josue, going back to that fun little first video intro. Granted, I mean, my intro to that was pretty scary too.
That wasn't my
There
best
were some
work.
technical difficulties with the camera too. So if you are listening to this, when we play it on YouTube, there will be some mess ups. But this was our first time, so we're getting it all worked out.
Well, and I mean, we're embracing it, and that's something that we want to do is like embrace the present moment and the journey that we're in. Embrace the process. And something that kind of came to my mind is like fall in love with the process of becoming the person who you are. And for perspectives, fall in love with the process of becoming who we're going to be. And it's something that even with simple things of like when we're traveling, having like the birds in the background, having those fun little neighbors in the episodes, having the trees blow and things like
dogs.
that.
Loud
Like
planes.
like
planes flying.
planes flying, like
planes,
just like authentically being in the moment and not trying to block out those genuine things. And being willing to embrace that in different ways is something that I think we're gonna stick. I mean, we're gonna stick with. Like, I know we're definitely gonna do that, and it's just something that I love. And that, I mean, y'all are down to do that and just be flexible and just roll with it. It's dope.
Yeah, I think one thing that also stood out to me is you guys should never put me in front of a camera because now I'm just making faces the whole time. For those of you guys that are watching, I'm just making faces because it's so funny because I watch a lot of different podcasts or shows and things of that nature. And so just thinking about the process of being in front of a camera and how you would act or talk or communicate, and just seeing how even within myself how more comfortable I got with it, which is kind of cool. I think, I don't know, because I'm an introvert, so right.
Funny joke.
False.
Maybe ambivert at most.
What's
Can I
an
get a
ambivert?
fact check?
Which one's an ambivert?
Fact check. False.
What's an ambivert?
Basically a mix of introvert and extrovert.
Oh,
So
I don't really know what I am. I just like joking around.
I don't know, but it's late, so we'll figure
Yeah.
that out in the morning.
Yeah, I think just to wrap it up with the bow tie,
Bow tie.
I think it was Pat that said that. He said, like especially like before Montel releases any music or any of that stuff, it's just like it's not about us, it's God who's getting the glory, and so we just trust, as you said, we just embrace this. Like no matter how dumb we look or whatever, I think it's God that's going to get the glory that really matters. So it's the ears that listen to this podcast and are impacted by these stories and just to see the goodness of God and his faithfulness through everything that took place. Every setup, as you said, even like the Dream Center, like having that run up right after Governor Newsom said, "Hey, you guys can open up." Like that's all God. That's not anything that we could have, planned on our own. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think we all, enjoyed just being as obedient as we could and having the grace to really allow this experience not to be about us, not to be about Perspectives Worldwide, but about God. And he showed up. So I think that's the best way to end it, right?
Yeah, that was great. I mean, Chase usually has his closing lines.
It's not about you, Chase.
Yeah, it's not about you, Chase. Come on, man. I feel like Alex did
We're
well.
doing it for, hey, God likes order. God likes routine.
Routine. In order.
All that.
And
Whatever.
notes.
But then again,
Yeah, we got
it's
two
but
pastors.
then again, we throw out routine when it's 2 a.m.
Yeah.
and
Man,
I'm about to
Jesus,
fall
thanks.
asleep right
Yeah.
here.
I feel like
So-
Grayson's yawned like 3
Jesus.
times already.
Chill with your showers, Grayson.
Yeah.
Goodness, man.
Can you guys believe I did a podcast with a blanket on? Like, what's going on?
Bro,
I gotta do better.
That's what 2021 brings.
It looks like it.
You wearing your tie-dye Crocs and then wearing a blanket on
Whoa, whoa,
podcast.
whoa, whoa. Don't bring out my Crocs.
Yo, those
Hey,
tie-dye
man.
Crocs are
Are
very
low-key fire.
and
Yeah, they
popular.
fire,
Hey,
bro.
man, if you
Depends
get
on who you ask.
You don't like the Crocs?
Nah.
hey, if you get credit for wearing Yeezys and other heat, you gonna get whatever for wearing those Crocs.
I feel like the Crocs are low-key fire. That's just me, though. I'm not going to hold y'all. That's just me.
It's not low key. Those are. I mean, hey, to each his own. Let's say that.
Yeah,
If-
that's true.
If you
To
like
each
it, I
his
love
own.
it. Right?
Yeah. A famous philosopher once said that. If you like it, I love it. Shout out to him.
right.
He knows who he is.
All right, so we can go ahead and get to bed real quick. Down the line, last closing statements, favorite memories from the trip, things like that. Chino, if you want to go ahead and reiterate anything
Oh,
you
he's
said.
already asleep, bro.
The boy passed out.
Chill, bro.
I mean, we all about to.
I can see.
So
I think just everything that I shared were the highlights, but I really did get to enjoy getting to know everybody and really growing, closer as a friend, as a brother in Christ. I think that's the best experience that one can obtain, and just trusting God in everything that happened. I mean, gosh, we knocked what total of 6, 7 podcasts in this whole trip. 6,
yeah,
7 including this, right?
no, 6 including this.
6 including. I mean, come on,
It's
man.
okay. It's 2 a.m. We can't do math.
Yeah. I'm Asian and I can't do math. That's a pity. But yeah, that's my closing statement. Is just, I mean, it was dope to get to know everyone and just witness everything that took place. That alone is just enough for me.
Yeah. Retweet. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know.
I retweet the retweet.
I mean, hey, if that's what y'all want to do, we can. I think I would just say, like, in closing, it's truly been an honor to get to experience just different facets of who God is through the people that I've gotten to know on this trip. My voice got really deep. That's how
Yeah,
you
this is
know
a
I'm
little
tired.
weird, man. Don't do
Yeah.
that. Don't do that.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in to the Perspectives podcast.
Yeah, for me, I think I was speaking to somebody, I don't remember, and they were just really thankful for the connections. None of it matters. I know who it is. They were just speaking about the connections that they were able to make. So I'm thankful that like what both of you guys have said, that we had an opportunity to be able to connect so many different people. Yeah, I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, just reiterating off of stuff I've already said and we've all talked about. I really enjoyed hanging out, getting to meet everybody, going down to the South LA. That was pretty cool, getting to see all the ministry work and things that's going on down there, and all the work that God's doing was really cool and fun to see. And yeah, just fellowship with everybody. I had a great time, and glad I got to come out. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to come, but glad it all worked out, and glad we all finally got a trip out here after, what, a year and a half, or planning for a while. It's been a while, but yeah, it's a great trip all around, and glad I got to meet y'all. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah. I gotta say, yeah, really so much love for each and every one of y'all. What's the jokes over there?
I'm not crying.
I'm,
You're
tr-
crying.
I'm trying to end this thing.
Alex is laughing.
We wanna go to
Why
bed.
is Alex laughing?
Chino, can you hold a laugh, please? But nah, I got so much love for y'all. Like taking your time and spending money, whatever it was, to be able to come up here and do this, and turn this dream that we all have into a reality. To make that happen, it takes sacrifice, and I think I speak on behalf of like me and Josue. I mean, granted, it's all of us. Like, thankful for one another, being willing to sacrifice and pursue this, and I mean, I think in terms of my favorite thing, like the post episode conversation with Chaz and Jake, just about unity and kind of what that means, and like, going off of Joshua, your question about, church culture around here was a really good conversation, and something that I think, Alex, you said that he said it was great to be able to have those conversations and see that people are like really thinking about these things. And so I think it shows that, this is kind of having some fruit, both hopefully during the episodes, but then also, off of the episodes. And so,
Yeah, shameless plug. Shout out to Pat, Lord's Child Worldwide. Yo,
Yes.
check this out. I think I got a Friends and Family edition one. 'Cause
Yes.
this one is fire. It has like this cream tone color to it, and it says Jesus, Jesus on the back. I mean, dude, he hooked us up with some merch.
He really
yeah.
did. That was great. I'm really thankful for that. I mean, that was that was.
I was
Shout
hoping
out to
that,
Pat.
by the end of the trip, as long as I got free merch, that's all that really matters.
So you came for the
Crenshaw.
shout out to South Crenshaw.
South Crenshaw?
Not just Crenshaw Cougars.
Crenshaw
led astray.
Cougars.
Hey,
Yeah,
respect
shout out to
MC Hustle.
Crenshaw Cougars. Shout out to
Unconventional. Refined?
refined.
Unconventionally refined?
Unconventionally refined. Shout out to you guys. Yeah, I was looking at you. You let me down. Shout out to you guys for
got the merch.
the merch. Shout out to Crenshaw for the merch. Shout out to Lord's Child for the merch. I feel blessed. There's a song about that, but I don't really sing, so plus it's like
Yeah, funny joke. We'll
Yeah.
get you to sing at some point. But then also, on an ending note, quick shout out to Grayson, Yvonne, and Alex, with y'all
Yeah,
being
shout out
behind
to
the
you guys.
camera,
that was
making
tremendous.
making these videos possible
Yeah.
for the first time. It takes a team to introduce something new and get it started, and so we're really looking forward to it and everything. But yeah, y'all, do you think our rambling's done? So
Grayson's ready to shower.
Yeah, Grayson got the shower.
Yeah,
so.
I gotta get my sleep. I can't.
this crazy dude needs to shower.
Mhm.
I can't.
They got a flight at 9 a.m.
Ooh.
I know I'm dead.
My body feels like it's 3 o'clock right now.
I mean,
3:30, right? What time is
I mean, yeah,
3:30?
3:51.
yeah. I mean,
Almost 4 o'clock. It
we
is bedtime.
we delirious. So, but thank y'all for bearing with us through this rambling. I hope y'all received something from this. I think so. I know I did. So it was fun, but that'll be a wrap for us today. Y'all know all the info. We ain't got time to talk about it. So until next time, much love. God bless. We going to bed.
Peace.